about possibly writing a book with your kids? Then this is the episode for you. Hi, my name is author Tonya Duncan Ellis with another episode of Write This, my author interview show. And today, to kick off the first official day of summer, I'm going to talk about having a book writing project for summer with your kids with author and educator Silvana Spence. Sil has written a successful book with her children, self-published it, and done an amazing job of marketing it and getting it out. So I'm excited to welcome her on and learn about the entire process and get tips from her as an educator on ways that we can encourage our kids to read during the summer months. And I see that Sil has popped on, so I'm going to get her in here. I'm so excited that she can come and join me. Let's see if I do this right. Okay. Hey, Sil, how you? Yay! So glad to see you and talk to you again.
Yes, I'm so excited that it worked out. Oh my goodness.
Yes, thank you for and Sil is an educator from, do you live in Florida? You're down in
Yes, I
Florida?
live in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay, in Jacksonville, Florida. And she's actually the person who did my first Instagram live interview with me, or brought me on her page, which has a lot of great information if you want to follow her on Mrs. for Success. So I'm so happy to have you on still, and to talk about your beautiful book that you wrote with your children, and to get tips for people interested in doing writing projects with their kids, especially as we're in the summer months. That would be a great project for people to do with their kids. So tell us a little about you.
Well, I'm Silvana Spence, or Sil, as Tonya called me. I am originally from Brazil. That's the accent that you hear. And I've been in the United States for about 22 years. And I teach first grade. And I'm going to teach first grade the next year also. Huh? So with that in mind, being in the education field, reading so much to the kids, and having so much passion for literacy and read alouds, that is also something that inspired me to become a writer and to motivate my kids, right? It's like we started our journey through science, right? I read to them and provided several books to them for them to be always passionate about what I'm passionate about, right? So I want to make sure that for kids to be passionate about something, you need to expose them to that, and you need to make sure that you provide those opportunities for them to be around it. So what I did was, my dream was always to have a library at home. And I used to go to library sales. And I use library sales. You can get books for very affordable prices. And with that in mind, I started building up my library, right? And we had about 7 bookshelves of children's books. Mm-hmm. So that I created like a little area for them to make sure that every time they want to look for an information, they were always the ones to help me to search, to organize the books in the library, etc. Right? And with that influence combined with the science, right, that we always did during summers, because since I am an educator, we spent summers together. And that's where the idea of creating a children's book STEM-based came from, because I have 2 kids that are absolutely passionate about science, and I'm passionate too. So we kind of put that all together and made a squad, which we call the STEAM squad, right? And that is something that you can nurture in kids, because kids want experiences that they can really put their hands on, that they can get things done. So that way you can implement a lot of literacy and a lot of science with it.
Can we stop for a second? What is the STEM squad or STEAM squad? So what do you do in that? What kind of things do you do?
The STEAM squad is the name of our company. It's the LLC that we have.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, we promote the books that we are about to launch. So the first one in the series is Bella the Scientist Goes to Outer Space. And we have a few more books aligned that are in the STEM field, because we want to make sure that kids see themselves, that they are represented, and that they have fun experiences when they're reading.
Now,
And
you show the book. I see it behind you. Can you hold it? See it better?
Yes, I'll hold it for you.
Okay, yeah. I love the book, and I love how your daughters actually dress the astronaut suits when you're doing events.
Yes, we do that. And I'm going to also show you the coloring activity book that we got it done, right? So this is our hardcover book, right?
Okay, yes.
And we start sharing the story, like talking about the characters, which are Isabella and Victoria, Bella and Vicky, right? And what are they passionate about? So there are two characters that they both passionate about science, but each one of them have their individual passions, right? And that way kids can identify with them, right? One likes more nature, the other one is more techy than the other. And when we go to authors' visits, we point that out. And then here we have a list, which is the list that generated the question that Isabella that asked, like, do all scientists wear lab coats and goggles? That is the guiding question for all the books that are going to be in our series. Because from that question, we did a research and we found this huge list, and I said, let's just pick a few and for you to research. And from that list, I told her, I said, it would look cute in a children's book. She said, yeah, why don't you write one? I said, are you gonna help? And that's how this book came to life. We got together during the pandemic, and Bella the Scientist was created, right? Yeah. And we have been in this journey of promoting Bella the Scientist. We published last February in 2022, and we're still promoting Bella the Scientist. And now we have Bella the Scientist Goes to Outer Space coloring and activity book. So although this book that we did, we have an experiment on the last pages of the book, right? We wanted to make sure that there were more activities for kids to do. So there's like a rocket vinegar experiment, and there are some other things that kids can do. So we brought the coloring activity book, and one of the things that I love the most in the activity book is the stickers that kids can use to write a sticker story, and the stickers that they can use to match the planets.
Oh, that's
right.
Yes.
So it's like, there's no way you're not gonna learn about the solar system with the activities that we have aligned for kids to do, right? Which is, that's our goal. It's like, we want kids to have fun. We want kids to see themselves in the story. We want them to have fun, and we want them to learn. That's really our goal, right? And with that, we dress up. Sometimes I wear this jacket that you guys can see, right? Sometimes I wear a jacket. Sometimes I wear a whole suit along, and I match with the kids with the Florida heat. I'll tell you, it's a big challenge, right? But we are all for it. So we put it on, and we make sure that we show that it's fun, that we are having fun while we are doing it. And that's why we are very selective in the events that we pick, that we go. We do it as a team. We choose the events together. It's not something that I say, oh, this is the event that we should go, and the kids just come along with me. No, they participate actively. And so how I make, they are involved in every single process of it. Every single process, in searching for bookstores for us to go, and searching for events, and looking at the audience. So it's like, the person that is really more, the PR is Vicky. Vicky's 16 years old now. And the person that is more into Canva and doing things in tech with Adobe in the computer, that's Isabella. So when we have to create a resource and things like that, Isabella is the one that sits with me and we create something together. When it comes to writing, we all write together and we make like a writing circle. So we usually do our writings on Sundays after church. So we kind of grab a bunch of snacks and things like that, and we take to a park with us. We have a little picnic table that is foldable. It looks like a luggage, and you can open anywhere you are. And we open that table, we sit over there, and we discuss the story that we want to write or where we stopped in the story, and we go on as a circle. When somebody else gets stuck in certain parts of the story, we pass the journal to the next person, and the next person just continues from the ideas that they have in their mind in the story. And then we read aloud to each other and we discuss if we agree, if we disagree, what should we add, and that's how we make our stories.
This is a beautiful legacy. You know, just the activity is wonderful. You're teaching the girls about entrepreneurship, creativity, teamwork, and so many things. And it's just a beautiful memory you all can share as a family.
Yes, it is really fun to do together. It's challenging at the same time because, you know, they're my kids, and sometimes they're tired and things like that. So then I have to teach them about being professional, how to present yourself professionally when we are at an event, although you are a child, but there are certain expectations from you. And other kids are looking up to you. So how are you going to present? You're going to have an attitude, or you're going to really be professional and do your best because you committed to this event. What are we going to do? So then we come together and we give each other breaks, right? So everybody has some time to just decompress. They have time to eat, and we have the places that we know we're going to eat and things like that. So we have everything organized. Sometimes we carry a cooler with us. Isabella packs our lunches. I cook everything, and she has a special way that she learned with my mom that she packs lunches beautifully, perfectly in Ziploc bags. And because when you go to events, sometimes you don't notice because there are so many things and food and things, and you want to try everything, and you don't pay attention that your money is staying there, right? So I teach them that. So I said, did we make enough to cover our fee? I was like, we need to pay attention that if we eat here, it's 3 of us eating over here. So how much do you want to spend here? So we talk about the money part, how we're going to use our money, how we're going to invest the money, all of those things. We discuss that and we make those decisions to get to know, okay, so then we are not going to eat at the event. We are going to bring our own food. So I cook before, I prepare everything, buy lots of fruits at the supermarket, and then we take it with us. So that is another part of being an author in a vending event, you know, that you have to be aware of it, because you're going to be surrounded by really cool things that you wanted. But if you don't pay attention to that, your money stays right there.
Right. That's a good lesson, because I think of the last event I went to, I got a snow cone, I got chicken wings, I got, you know, yeah. So
yes, because it smells good,
yeah,
and we also want to support the other businesses, right?
right.
But I tell them, we need to choose one business that we're going to support, and if it's food, we cannot be going around.
Right.
So we have to choose one business that we are going to support. If it's books, something, so we need to choose someone that we also going to bless during this event. But we have to choose one business, and we have to see how much revenue that we make and the amount that we are spending to cover the fees, all of that. So Isabella is very mathematical. Like, even if she doesn't want to, it's like you share a price of something, she already brings you the breakdown of every single thing that we need to do, or what is going to cost, or etc. Right? So I didn't have to divide the tasks for us to do. It just fell into place according to our gifts and talents that God gave to us.
Okay, now what,
So
say a parent wants to do a project like this with their children, how would you suggest they start, or where would you begin?
I would suggest them to start with their manuscript, right? With the writing part, with the writing process with the kids. Because if you don't have that, then you don't have a book
Right.
and you're not going to have the other things. So start with the manuscript. Make sure that you find a good editor, a good, when we had our manuscript, we had a group of people, of trusted people, to read the manuscript before we sent to an editor. So I had a librarian, I had educators, I had parents in the group that they would read and give me opinions of what should it be, what should it change, what did they like, what was missing, etc. And you have to be open to kind of tweak your story too, because you can't be so firm that this is what I wrote, this is the way it should be, because otherwise you are not going to really serve the community, serve your readers. So that's something that we are very flexible. We are open to receive critiques so we can grow. So
Right.
I start with your manuscript, make sure that your manuscript is polished beautifully, and then you send your editor, right? Either if you are going to, I'm saying in a sense that if you're going to self-publish, because if you have an agent, they are going to take care of that part for you, right? So make sure, but even though that, you still have to polish your work for them to read, and it has to flow, it has to be smooth. And the other part is, once your manuscript is ready, then make sure that before that, you have to be shopping for your illustrator. So your illustrator, you need to look at books that you like, that have the images that you would like to see in your book. How are those images done? Is that painting? Is that digital? How is that done? What do you like, right? So that is something important. So then you can choose your illustrator. And in our situation, I got a recommendation from another author, which is also helpful, because I want to make sure that the illustrator would be able to draw our features. I didn't want somebody that would just use a template and just change the color of our skin, because we have individual different features. My nose is different than the girl's nose, my hair is different than their hair, etc. Right? So our illustrator was able to really capture even the roots of the hair. It was really cute. It's like when you look at the book, right? Let me see if I can show you very close to the camera. You
Yeah.
can see, right, their puffs, and you can see right over here, the tracks of their hair. It's like even on the minimal, like the very small details, because they were involved in that process too. They would, as the illustrator would send me back the drawings, right? The sketches, they would look and they would say, oh, my forehead is not this way, my nose is not this way, it has to be this way. Every detail, they were involved in absolutely everything. So if they did not approve, it would not go forward. We would have to fix it, because you cannot be showing a book where you're not happy, a book that it's about you as the character, but you're not happy about it. So it would not, and especially because they're kids, it shows immediately that they're not happy about something. So once
And this
once
is great lessons in project management, because they're
yes.
learning each step and what to do for a project.
It's
So this is
huge in project management. We had one event that I booked in 2 different places the same day. So I went with Isabella in one, and Victoria was by herself in the other.
oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, and she handled it beautifully. She was very nervous in the beginning. She's like, I changed the booth. No, oh my God, now it's okay. You can take out of my paycheck if we don't make it. Right? I was like, you have to be responsible when you make decisions. And when you are in a place, when you are choosing a venue or choosing a spot for your booth to be, you need to look at every single strategy. Where the traffic coming from? You know, which directions are people coming? And even before that, we're looking at who are the people participating in this event. If we're selling children's books, we have to be in an event that has families, that has lots of kids, because this is our audience. And lots of grandparents, because grandparents love buying books for their grandchildren. And especially because it's a STEM book that is really about science. So people absolutely love that, because they want kids to be really involved, not just with reading, but they want kids to be involved with more STEM-based material, right?
Right. I just love hearing all of this, because taking on a project like this with your children during the summer is a way to keep them just engaged and learning so many different things.
Yeah.
With the reading of your book and all that you've done with your girls, this is wonderful.
It is. And it's something that we discuss it together, because as I mentioned before, because they're kids, is going to show if they're not happy about something. And what we really don't want to portray is that I am forcing them to do something. So if there's an event that we voted that we shouldn't go, so we usually vote. So majority rules. And then we discuss with each other, you know, if Victoria and I decide that, hey, this is going to be good for us, and we explain to each other, you know, why would it be good? Why do you think this event is important? And stuff like that, right? So it's like to have some sort of judgment. I just want to go because it's fun. No, we're going to pay for this. There's money involved in this. So if it's just for fun, then we don't go as a vendor. We go as consumers, and we go just to support the event. So it's a huge management, and it's a huge learning curve, because they are involved when we are doing taxes, when we're doing so many things. So that it's a project that your kids can really, it's like parents can decide how far or how involved the kids can be, right? You have to choose what is easier for you to manage with your kids. But because my kids are so involved in everything I do, and they're always with me, so I thought that might as well let's get together and learn this thing. Because you're gonna need this thing in your life.
That's awesome. And I also was excited to see you guys were featured on a television show.
We were, yes. And you know, how fun is that? You're not expecting something, and then you're over there with the customers, and then there's the news, you know, cast over, you know, they're over there waiting to buy your book and talk to you. So that is a blessing. Yeah. So it's like in many circumstances, like sometimes I speak, and sometimes I just let them speak, you know, because sometimes they ask, who is going to speak? I look at them, I was like, who wants to speak?
Right.
So sometimes when one doesn't, sometimes they can nudge me like, go ahead, you speak. Or they say, no, we can talk. And I let them talk.
Yeah, this is so great. Now, you mentioned in the beginning that you have a new book coming out. So tell us a little bit about that.
We are working actually in 2 books. One that is, we try to write books that we have some sort of experience in our lives. So we have one that is about doing science experiments, things that we have done. And we have one that, although Isabella is the one that has the most experience, which is coding, right? Because she takes coding classes and everything. I just dropped her off, right? So she's the one that can, you know, we helped her write, but the specific language that she's going to use, we mentioned to her, you're the only one that can actually really talk about those things, because you actually do it in your class. So she's the one taking care of the majority of that writing.
Right. This is so beautiful. It's just so many learnings, you know, getting girls involved in STEM, diversity in STEM, they're learning business, and just, so this is kudos to you, Mom, for
Thank you.
Girls. This is wonderful. I'm going to get my kids to help with my taxes now.
Right. It is a whole lot of stuff. And it was so funny because like when we go to the bank to deposit the money, and we also go over this because we are Christians, so we tithe too. And Isabel takes care of that. So she knows what's the 10% of whatever we made that day, it goes to your tithes. And then Victoria comes and said, what about the tax? I said, calm down. It's going to come the time that we're going to take care of that too. But right now, we're just taking care of this part. So we go to the bank, we deposit the money, and I make the payment for them because they get a percentage of what we make that day, and they deposit in their bank account.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Silvana, for coming on here and talking to us about this amazing project you've done with your girls. And it's definitely inspired me, and I'm sure it'll inspire listeners that are tuning in on things that we can do to help make learning part of the day-to-day lives with our children. So
because this is something that they will use in the future. Nothing will be lost. Nothing is going to be just for yourself as an author. Every experience that you have, that we have as mothers, it's when they are involved and they understand, you know, how much it costs something, what the investment, the things, all of those steps for us to have a nice display, they are involved. So the way it shifts their thinking in how to spend their money and how to invest their money. All of those things are important.
Yes, yes, this is great. Well, how can people stay connected with you after this interview? How can they reach you?
They can reach me through my page on Instagram, Mrs.S4Success, or Bella the Scientist. I run both pages along with Isabella and Bella the Scientist on Instagram. I also have a TikTok, which is Mrs.S4Success. And our website is www.bellathescientist.com. I can actually put it over here.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your experience in self with your children and giving parents tips on ways they can help make learning fun for kids this throughout the year.
Because it is a really fun thing to do with your kids. It might have its challenges like everything that we do, but it's a life learning experience.
Yes. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. She's put her website link there, so jot that down. And hope that you're enjoying the great start to your summer, and look forward to you next time on Write This.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.